Hello there, gang, and welcome to Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. As you know, this is a show all about action figures, but honestly, there's so much stuff going on in the world, I want to cover all sorts of different topics, and that's how I'm going to start the show. But Dave, I hear you cry. I only come here for the action figures, and honestly, I really just tolerate you for those. Well, don't worry, I put a little timestamp down below. You can jump straight to them. Don't have to worry about all the preamble type stuff. But for those of you who want to hear what else is going on in the world, well, I'm going to tell you about it right now. Over in movie news, it's the Battle of the Clowns. But honestly, it wasn't really a battle. It was a mugging, as Terrifier absolutely bodied Joker 2 out of the box office. Terrifier 3, the Christmas-themed horrible slasher movie, took in $200 million in its opening weekend. And Joker 2 has just continued to limp along. And honestly, I'll tell you, that's the cost of hubris. It's hubris is what did this to you guys. You know, did anyone ask for a Joker sequel that was a musical that kind of undid everything that came before it? No, but you made it anyway. And now, if you don't want to go to the cinema to watch it, which is pretty much everyone, you can actually catch it on streaming. It's going to be debuting on, is it HBO Max? I'm not sure. Either way, it's going to debut on October 29th, and that's when you know that something's bombed at the box office, when a studio is so desperate to get it out of theaters, they're like, it's not worth our while even having it in the theater. Just put it on streaming and try to recoup something back. Whereas Terrifier, that's just making bank. At the lowest of low-budget, gory slasher movies, it's laughing all the way to Fort Knox. And fair play to it. Honestly, I love a good horror movie, but that's a little bit too horrific even for my tastes. But it seems like the taste of the masses want brutal, gory violence, and Terrifier 3 is delivering it in spades. And while we're talking about movies that are hits or flops and budgets and returns, I gotta talk about Transformers 1, just because I saw it a week ago, and it is so good. It's great. If you've not seen Transformers 1, then being the influencer that I am, toss my invisible hair back, you gotta go see it. Don't trust the trailers. Whoever put those trailers and the marketing together deserves to be fired. And I don't wish unemployment on anyone, except the person who made those trailers and made it look like a dumb, goofy kids movie, because that's what I thought. I saw the trailer and I was like, this ain't for Dave. And then I randomly went to see it and I was like, this is so good. They tell the entire story of the origin of Prime and Megatron, going from the lowly workers to the cult leaders that they are, all in the space of just under 2 hours. Yeah, and it doesn't feel rushed. The characters have arcs and stories and nuances that just make sense, and it's so much better than any of the live action trash that has been made for Transformers. But it is underperforming. It's just recently broken, apparently, $111 million, which sounds like a lot, but apparently it cost between 75 and 150, which is a big margin, but still, a movie needs to make back double its budget in order to be considered successful, because so much goes into marketing and whatnot that it seems like, tragically, the best Transformers movie might be one of the biggest flops. So we probably won't ever get a sequel, which would be an absolute tragedy. That we could get like 6 or 7 Michael Bay movies and only one actually decent Transformers film. Go and right this terrible wrong, folks. If you get the chance, go see Transformers 1 in the cinema, and honestly, you'll be glad you did. This is something that, well, some of you might enjoy, I guess. Venom has a Hot Wings trailer ad spot, and just watching it, I was like, yeah, this is why I hate the Venom movies. Just 30 seconds of Venom going, oh my god, it's so hot! Oh, go give me water! Oh no, oh, awful, wow. Do you guys really want to watch 90 minutes of that? I mean, I know people do, because they kept making them, and they kept making money. But oh my goodness, no, like nails on a chalkboard. But if you enjoy Tom Hardy's Venom, then you might want to go check out the Hot Wings TV spot. Because I will admit, it's a fun concept. Just a shame that it was this character that was in it. Creature Commandos, the animated movie, is going to be debuting on HBO Max on December 5th. This is going to be our first glimpse into the James Gunn DC universe. So fingers crossed. A lot is riding on this. Even though it's just an animated feature, it's going to get the ball rolling for what will hopefully be a new, successful, fresh start for the DC Cinematic Universe. Is it going to be a success? Well, this film might give us an indication. Time will tell. For those of you who are like me and enjoy the MCU but don't really have the time to watch all the Disney Plus content, Agatha All Along has confirmed that the Wiccan character, well, the teen boy magic character, is Wiccan. So that's kind of cool. We're getting Wiccan officially in the MCU. I like Wiccan. I'm a fan of Wiccan from the comics. His relationship with Hulkling is kind of cute and kind of groundbreaking in different ways as well. Or maybe not groundbreaking, but it treads on freshly broken ground. Yeah, that's good enough. Regardless, it's nice to see them expanding on this character in the MCU, and maybe we'll see him on the silver screen sometime. Although I kind of doubt it. I feel like most Disney Plus shows, the new characters introduced there are like, no, that's where you're staying, and consider yourselves lucky. In pro wrestling news, we have 2 new world champions and a whole lot of change going on. So in AEW, at their Wrestle Dream event, the world champion at the time, Bryan Danielson, lost to Jon Moxley in a bit of an underwhelming affair. It wasn't this big titanic ending to the match. He just got choked out, which honestly I kind of like, because it's great to feel like a match can end out of nowhere, and especially when you don't feel like a title change is going to take place, to then actually see it occur, you're like, oh, I didn't think that was going to happen. And neither did the audience in attendance. There was a hushed silence. It was very much like The Undertaker's streak ending at WrestleMania. So now Jon Moxley is the new AEW champion. And of course, Bryan Danielson, his career is over. Asterisk, full-time career. He's going to keep wrestling until he's 90. Hugh Jackman style, I don't doubt for a second. But for now, we can officially say farewell to the American Dragon. And over in this part of the world, New Japan Pro Wrestling crowned a new IWGP World Heavy Kyocha, or World Heavyweight Champion, Zack Sabre Jr. The technical wizard from good old Blighty is the first British... No, he's not the first British-born IWGP champion. That was Will Ospreay. Well, second comes right after first, as Buzz Aldrin said. And yeah, ZSJ, new champion. And also kind of like with Moxley and Danielson, it's a bit of an underwhelming finish because the former champion, Naito, his knees were hanging on for dear life. So by the end of the match, it seemed like Naito was more relieved to get the belt off. And Zack Sabre Jr., he'd been owed it for so long, it's like, oh, I've got the belt now. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, thanks very much. Still, it's great to see 2 new champions, and it's a good time to be a wrestling fan. Absolute Batman is tearing up the sales charts. This is comic book news, by the way. Absolute Batman tearing up the sales charts, and Absolute Superman is not far behind. November 6th, we're going to get a look at the new Man of Steel, at least for their Absolute universe. That's why I like these different things. It's not undoing anything in the regular universe. Help me out, DC fans. Marvel has the 616. What do you refer to as the main DC universe? Does it have a name of some sort? I imagine it must do. So November 6th, we're going to get the new Superman. And already they've announced how they've changed a few things. The S on his chest apparently doesn't stand for hope. It stands for the lowest caste system on Krypton. So basically, he's part of like the low, humble workers grafting around. Very similar to Batman, actually. More working class upbringings. Apparently, Lois Lane is going to be a military person, and yeah, that's about it. But they've released some very pretty looking covers, and honestly, if Absolute Batman is anything to go by, I'm very interested to see what they're going to do here. Being a DC noob, this is great fun for me. I'm jumping in on the ground floor and I'm having a good time with it. So yeah, roll on November 6th, was it? Yeah, November 6th. I'll be picking this up. In an interesting bit of Star Wars news, we have our first trans character in Star Wars, a clone trooper by the name of Sister. This character has had an interesting development cycle. They were first referenced in a novel called The Queen's Hope, I believe it was. Then someone did some fan art of her, which was then adopted as the official image of the character. And now finally, there is a visual encyclopedia book being released called Secrets of the Clone Troopers. I believe that's what it's called. It's a clone trooper encyclopedia. And we get Sister with their own entry in there. And I think that's kind of cool. There's a little backstory where it says how they were worried that they weren't going to be accepted by the other clone troopers, and they basically said, no, you're one of us, and that's cool, and you can be who you want to be. And so much so that we're even going to give you the name of Sister to show that we're proud of you and who you are. And I think that's kind of nice. So I know that obviously this is probably going to cause a lot of harumph amongst different folks and different groups. I think it's nice to give people bits of representation, because also it's there if you want it. But it's not like they're massively, they're not making Darth Vader a trans character. They're not shoveling this in the mainstream people's faces. You've got to go out of your way to find this. But if you're actively looking for it, then you can find that representation. And honestly, I think that's only a nice thing. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I think that definitely qualifies as good news. Continuing their partnership with AEW, DC have included a little Tony Storm mini-comic that's to be included with some of their upcoming releases. And this is just more fun pro wrestling comic book integration that I love to see. That's a great part of having Warner Brothers and AEW working together. Hopefully, we'll get more of these, because just getting this little cross-mix media kind of approach to pro wrestling, I got a lot of time for that. Over in video games, if you want to pick up something to just dive into for a few hours, Never has just been released, and it is getting incredible reviews. I've already downloaded it myself. I can't wait to play it. But it's made by the same studio that made a little-known game called Gris a couple of years ago, which is just this beautiful 2D platformer. And this seems like more of the same, but with improved functions and mechanics, and apparently a story that is affecting and heartbreaking and uplifting. And man, it looks kind of beautiful. And I want a game that's going to take me on an emotional journey, and this looks like that. Plus, it's a 2D side-scrolling platformer, which is just, I yum those up. I can't get enough of my 2D platformers. So this looks really, really gorgeous. I can't wait to dive on into it. Don't know when I'm going to find the time to, but apparently it's only about a 4-hour game, so I shouldn't need to find too much time for that. But also, it's a 4-hour game kind of price. It's about $20, so not too crazy. But from everything I've heard, and from what I know from the previous game this company made, this should be quite something special. I'm really looking forward to it. Flame Toys have a couple of wicked looking Transformers. First of all, we've got Beast Wars Megatron. This guy's going to be $80. At first I thought he was going to be one of the super expensive ones, but this is actually more of a basic version of a Flame Toys figure. But I just love what they always do. They take the basic design and then they just tart it up a bit. Normally they make it a bit more angular, a bit more anime looking, and that's what they've done here with this Megatron. And he looks badass. I really, really love this. So this just says coming soon. It's going to be available on Big Bad Toy Store. So you can always check out there. You don't have to jump through international hoops to get Flame Toys. Big Bad Toy Store is a good hookup. Don't feel bad though if you do want to spend a huge amount of money on Transformers, because Flame Toys do have a beautiful, and I do mean really beautiful Ultra Magnus, one of my favorite Transformers. I just bonded with this dude when I saw him in the '86 movie, because that's my kind of personality type. He might be big and imposing, but he doesn't feel confident being a leader. He wants to just back up the guy who's leading and do the best job he can. It's a real shame he got bisected in the movie, but he got better, so that's okay. And this is a gorgeous, gorgeous version of Ultra Magnus, doing exactly what I said Flame Toys do so well. They take the design and then they just anime-ize it. They put it through the Animerizer, it's a thing, and you get this awesome Japanese-looking version of the G1 Ultra Magnus. So cool. I think it justifies the $400 price tag, but that is the sticking point, $400. But my goodness, if you're gonna spend $400 on something, it might as well be something as gorgeous as this. Folks, time to take a quick moment to tell you about this channel's sponsor, Legendsverse. If you've watched even a couple of videos on model behavior, you'll know all about Legendsverse. And if you don't know them, Well, you're about to. Legends Verse is your one-stop shop. That was my little Jason Statham voice. Your one-stop shop for curating your action figure collection. Whether it's Marvel Legends, Mafex, G.I. Joe, McFarlane, Mythic Legions, NECA. So many figures are being added every single day. You can use this to catalog everything that you own. You get a look at the price, what it's worth, how much you've invested. It's a real satisfying process to go through. And honestly, it's a bit of a danger because I have spent hours diving down various rabbit holes. So gang, if you haven't checked out Legends Verse, go give it a look. Honestly, for anyone who has more than a couple of action figures, you'll be so glad you did. And especially if you want to go back in time and look at all the figures that have come out over the last 20 odd years, and a lot longer than 20 years actually. It's an amazing resource for that. So go check it out and tell them Dave sent you. Well, this is a slightly different angle. You'll have to excuse me, I've just got home from work and I'm very hot and sweaty and a complete mess. But Sideshow Toys have just revealed their new Venom figure, and this was not going to wait until the next episode of Good News. Even though I'm just about to finish editing and make this video live, I had to do a new segment just to show this guy off to you because he looks so amazing. $400. So a pretty amazing price tag to go with him, but I mean, look where that money's going. Look at the details on this guy. The two different heads, the huge lashing tongue, and then he's got the Audrey 2 style Venom mouth sprouting off of him. I love it. He's just a mean green mother from outer space and he's bad. Mean green bad. That's a little Shop of Horrors reference there for anyone who knows that. Anyway, he's available for pre-order on Hot Toys. Absolutely stunning looking. $400 would be well spent. He's out of my price range, but if you're feeling froggy and you got that money, dang it, it would be money well spent. Over to McFarlane DC, and Todd McFarlane, he clearly doesn't sleep because every single day we're getting new action figures. Granted, I know he's not whittling them away himself, but still, it's a pretty prolific company. And we're going back to the Snyderverse again. Although I have to offer an apology because in the last episode I was like, no one cares about the Snyderverse, and then a bunch of people were like, actually, I dig the Snyderverse and I'll happily buy more stuff from it. Well, you're about to. So first of all, we're getting this General Zod Doomsday Superman 2-pack. These are only the preview images, so I won't linger too long, but yeah, you got a big chunky Doomsday. Then we're getting Nightmare Batman as well with the trench coat and the goggles. That's kind of fun. My eyes, the goggles, they do nothing. Then we're getting Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. We have had some of these figures before, haven't we? We've had Gal Gadot Wonder Woman. Well, you're getting another one. And then also we're getting Armored Batman, who, again, we've had Armored Batman, haven't we? Well, this is a variation on a theme, I suppose. Pre-orders are going to go live October 18th, so 3 days. And I'm sure that when they do, I'll have all the other pictures for you. McFarlane are also giving us Christopher Reeve Superman. I feel like we've had this before, but maybe we haven't. It's so hard to keep track. I should really go onto Legends Verse and find out. But it's Christopher Reeve Superman from the 77 movie? 78. I was so close. Star Wars was 77. Man, what a time to be alive. Star Wars followed by Superman. Boy, that was pretty groundbreaking for the late 70s. So there you go. He looks okay. Just the preview picture, but looks, I was gonna say it looks like Christopher Reeve to me. I mean, it does, but also a little bit uncanny valley, a little bit sort of plasticky. It looks like a waxwork of Christopher Reeve. Maybe not great waxwork. Actually, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, that's Christopher Reeve. But that's not Christopher Reeve. Yeah, the jury's out on this one. McFarlane are also doing some animated style Batman figures. We're getting 3 new ones, coming in hot. Literally, in some cases. First of all, we've got the anti-fire suit Batman. But why is he wearing an anti-fire suit? Well, I'll tell you, because we're also getting Firefly as well. I think this looks kind of cool. I like this animated design of Firefly. I dig this. And then a character who deserves the animated kind of treatment is, what's his name? Creeper! There you go. My brain was thinking freak or freaker, but no, Creeper. What was a freaker? Oh, that was what they called the zombies in Days Gone. I'm still tempted to play that game, even though it wasn't well received. I just like the idea of a zombie open world. Wow, I'm getting off track here. Creeper, he looks really good as well. Each one of them are going to be $24.99 each, and they're available for pre-order now on Amazon. So go check them out. The Ghostbusters Marvel HasLab has been revealed, not officially though. But the pictures are all now out on the interwebs. I was hesitant to discuss these and show them, and then I saw, wow, actually I wasn't even looking for them, and they're just getting thrown at me, so here they are. I'm sure you've probably seen them already. It's Ecto-1 and kind of Ecto-1 from Ghostbusters 2 as well. I was about to say Ecto-2, but that's the helicopter thing, isn't it? I remember that from real Ghostbusters. And it looks real good. 1/12 scale Ecto-1 with all the parts and accessories that you can take on or remove to make it look like either version. I'd go for Ghostbusters 2 because it's so laden with so much stuff. It's a lot of fun. Then you got the 4 Ghostbusters in their grey outfits, along with Lewis and Slimer as well, who I'm guessing might be Tears. I don't know. We don't know because this hasn't been officially announced yet. But the photos are out there, and heck, now I've done my part to ruin the surprise as well. I know, I'm terrible. But the HasLab looks good. Up for pre-order on Bombuzby are the Remad custom Christopher Nolan Batman figures of Bane and Ra's al Ghul, 1/12 scale. So at first when I looked at these, I assumed it was 1/6 because there's a lot of detail on these figures. But actually this is all crammed down into little 1/12 Rumble Mezco Society type figures. That's impressive. So if you want to put down a deposit, then you can do so at Bombuzby. What I can't find is the final price though, just the deposit, which is a little bit funny. I mean, help me out if I'm being really dumb. I mean, that's always my first go-to option. But I can't see what the actual final price is, just the initial deposit price. But if you're a big Nolan fan, then heck, maybe you're going to want them regardless. I'm guessing you're going to be looking at about $100 for each of those, but that's just an uneducated guess. But hopefully we'll get more information soon. Hey, do you want a scary clown on your shelf? No, I didn't think so. Me either. But Underverse seem to think you do, and they're making this 1/6 scale, what's his name? Monsieur Le Chagrin. Okay, Le Chagrin. I kind of like the name. It's arty. It is arty, isn't it? This is for your more highfalutin kind of action figure collector. I don't like the look of it. He looks scary. But also, I'm very impressed with the work that's gone into it. I thought it was a whole bunch of different figures, but no, it's just one 1/6 scale figure with a whole bunch of outfits and things that you can remove and change. There's a glow-in-the-dark skeleton body underneath everything as well that's kind of fun. $250. Sorry, $205. I would pay $250 to not have to be sleeping with him staring at me. But if you want a very artistic and admittedly beautifully made, but also rather terrifying action figure on your shelf, then you can check out underverse.com. They'll have you sorted. Amazing Yamaguchi have shown off a preview image of their next giant from Attack on Titan. I won't linger since it's only the preview shot, but dang, the female giant looked really impressive, and this guy looks huge, like big, thick and chunky. I'm looking forward to see how he stacks up with the rest of the Revoltech figures. I think he might be one of the biggest ones that they've done recently. I think he'll have to be. I mean, he is a giant. Nammu Studios are showing off more of their dinosaurs, and every time I see them, I'm very impressed. These would look great next to the Mattel Hammond Collection Jurassic Park figures. Arguably a little bit nicer, actually. I don't know, it's hard to tell without having them in hand. But these two Velociraptors, they look terrific. So they're called Tiger Blade and Shadow Blade. And they're going to be retailing for what seems like a surprisingly reasonable price. One's going to be $36, the other one $39. So each one of these under $40. That with the amount of articulation and details and the paintwork, they look really pretty. I'm not sure where you can pick them up from yet, but give the name Nammu Studio a Google, see where you can find them. While I'm doing the edit, I'll see if I can find some more information for you. If I can, I'll be showing it down below. In the meantime, though, we're just gawping at the pretty pictures, and by heck, they're gawp-worthy. Yeah, they're gawp-worthy. Man, I always bang on about how much I don't like Funko Pops, and I swear they took that as a challenge. Because now they're doing Spider-Man with a cute little doggy under his arm. And looking at that doggy, I mean, tell me she doesn't at least look a little bit like my little piglet. I mean, the ears need to be a little bit more pointy, but besides that, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much Spider-Man with Piglet in his arm. And, you know, I've probably been away from a little baby for too long. I'm just seeing her everywhere. But dang it, I looked at this Funko and I was like, I wouldn't hate having that on my shelf. And if I see him in store, he'll only cost me $15. This could be a slippery slope. The McFarlane statue train is continuing to roll along. 2 more reveals now. First of all, we got black costume Spider-Man in the Spider-Man 300 pose. Again, Todd, you know how to appeal to a big 90s kid, even though 300 came out in 88, maybe? I'm dating myself. But I like this again. This is going to be 1/6 scale, so Hot Toys kind of scale. And also, at first, I was a little bit confused because I see that he's got sculpted lenses, which I kind of like. I've never seen that style done before with the black suit. So he's got some extra details, some lines and paneling on him. At first I was like, did you just repaint the red and blue costume? I don't think that's the case. It isn't, but it made me do a double take. But I like the look of this. I really do. And if you want to go a little bit more modern, not much though, only a few years, he's got Spawn as well. Now Spawn is going to be 1/10 scale. So again, jumping all over the place with the scales, but I really like the look of this Spawn too. I just, Todd, after 30 years, I'm not going to let you turn me into a statue guy. But honestly, some of these figures, you're making a compelling argument. Not even figures, statues. But heck, they do look good. For all you Disney fans out there, and I know there are a few, myself included, Beast Kingdom are making this beautiful genie statue. I kind of love this. This is my nostalgic childhood right here. Just looking at this, I can hear the music. I can hear Robin Williams' voice. Wah, wah, wah. Oh, my. That wasn't a good Robin Williams, but you know what I mean. So I love it. I wouldn't get it. It's incredibly expensive. And, you know, Papa needs a new pair of shoes. Literally, they're hanging off my feet. But if I did have a spare $250, well, I wouldn't feel too bad if I spent it on this because I think it does look wicked. There's a Princess Jasmine that you can get as well. I can't see a price for her, though. But actually, I think she'll be significantly cheaper than Genie. But if you've got them both together, that's a little wonderful early 90s Disney tribute right there. And yeah, I'd be happy to have that on my shelf. Now this is a statue that needs guns. Lots of guns. That wasn't a very good Keanu Reeves, but this Diamond Select statue, that is a pretty good Keanu Reeves. It's John Wick with his doggy looking so badass. I'm a huge John Wick fan. Those movies, they fire all the right little dopamine things in my brain. And this $300 statue could fire some dopamine if it lands on your shelf. Go over to Diamond Select Toys and, well, get it if you want it. Don't know where that sentence was going. Over in Custom Corner, I want to shout out Bentwara. This dude does some amazing paint jobs and a little bit of extra sculpting work as well, taking basic figures and making them a whole lot beyond basic. Some of his Marvel stuff I really, really dig. He does a lot of other franchises as well, but there's a few Wolverines in there that look so cool. Got kind of a chunky 90s aesthetic to some of them. There's a Revoltex-style Superior Spider-Man that just... whew, oh Lord, I do declare. Go give him a follow. He's doing really amazing work. Today's cosplay cover artist is Jassy Q, or just Q to her friends, I suppose. Someone who can use makeup to effectively turn themselves into what looks like a human animated cartoon character. That is pretty impressive. So go check out her Instagram, all of her different photo shoots and sets and costumes. Each one is genuinely more impressive than the last. She does pretty amazing work. Go give her a follow. Or not. Just check it out. Or don't. See yourself. It's not up to me. I'm just suggesting things. And folks, that does it for Good News for today. Thank you so much for watching. What did you think about the items covered? Comment below. Let me know. And until next time, keep displaying model behavior. Whoa. Get back here. Just where do you think you're going? Before you go anywhere, you might want to hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. I mean, I would really appreciate it. I bet some of you who watch this show normally were a bit surprised at how quick that last ending was. Well, I thought I would save all the awkward shilling until the very, very end, by which point most people have clicked off. So if you haven't yet, then you're one of the real ones, and you're the ones I have to talk to. First of all, to acknowledge the good brothers behind me, and sisters, and non-binary folks as well, who have signed up and got a Model Behaviour membership. By doing that, you help support the channel, you buy me a pint, and I really appreciate it. And if you want a little bit more model behavior in your lives, well, there's plenty of that too. You can go over to my Instagram, you can go over to the Facebook. That's it. The Instagram, the Facebook. Hey, there's 3 different things along with the YouTube. So gang, thank you so much for all your support. Go become a member on Facebook, at least, because the model behavior community on there, they're a great bunch. That's one of the things I'm most proud of. I love the folks in that group. So gang, thank you so much for watching. And I'm doing the sign off again. Well, this is the first time I've done it like this, so I will do. Time for the cup of coffee thing. All right. Cup of coffee. Cup of coffee.